What is up, everyone? Can you hear me? Let me know in chat if you can hear me, please. If you are one of my Wolfpack people, we are using the Discord chat. I'm sorry, we are using the chat on YouTube. Thank you very much. Why my camera's acting up this morning, but we'll get it sorted here in a second, y'all. Oh, there we go. What is up, y'all? Can you see me? And can you hear me? Let me know in chat. Awesome. Well, hey, welcome to Premarket Prep. Welcome to Premarket Prep. We're going to get right into it because we've already wasted about 5 minutes here this morning, all right? So we're going to get right into scans, plans, ideas for the day. We're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on recently, my thoughts going into 2024, okay? So stick around. Only got about 25 minutes here. We are going to get through my pre-market process as quickly as humanly possible right now. All right. If you got questions along the way, I'll try to get to you, but I am usually pretty laser focused when it gets time to get to the markets, right? So we're going to walk you through process really fast. Overall markets, SPY, right? SPY, Qs, all still near highs for now. Seem to be gapping up again for now. So we'll see what goes on there. In terms of big runners this morning, we've got CGen, CGEN as our top percent gainer. And this is what we've been seeing lately, y'all. Anytime PRs come out on biotechs, they just run 100, 200% at times more, okay? Pre-market. Everyone just kind of chases this crap around pre-market. PR this morning on CGen, and if I remember correctly, they are dilutive. We'll look into it. But they're eligible to receive a 10 million milestone payment upon first dosing of patient and blah, 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 okay? First dosing, they're eligible for a payment, and that's pretty much it. One of the main things, okay, one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself if you're newer, trying to figure out how to trade, trying to figure out how to find explosive stocks, the most important thing you can do is detach, first of all right? All of these PRs are pumps. They're all designed to make you feel some sort of way. They're all designed to get exactly what is happening to happen. Does that make sense, y'all? Let me know in chat if that makes sense. That's all these PRs are designed to do. All of these companies need money, okay? Every single one of these companies. First of all, for those who don't know how I scan, filters. Almost nothing for pre-market, okay? I want to see everything. I want to have my eyes everywhere so I can get gauge of what if there's something kind of big picture going on in terms of a sector. I like to have my eyes there early, okay? That being said, I will gravitate towards the bigger percent gainers doing bigger volume, okay? That is important. I don't want trade illiquid garbage most of the time. So this is what I scan for. I will change these metrics a little bit throughout the day as I want to eliminate some of the more illiquid plays, and then I'll go back and forth, okay? TFFP, fresh split, CGen, bigger float, first of all, right? So when I'm looking at a scan and a ticker pops up, I'm looking at float. Obviously, they're up 170% this morning. They've done 20 million volume, $40 million volume. They do have a PR, right? License agreement. They have some conference call. They announced a license agreement as well, okay? So both a potential milestone payment and a license agreement. So they've got a couple things going for them, but they also have a couple things not going for them, which we'll look at. PBLA, that was one of the runners from yesterday, all right? PBLA, 5 million share float, lower float, $1.80 now. They had a sick run yesterday. They PR'd this morning. Pancreatic cancer competitive landscape report. I don't see much there from that PR, to be honest. Okay. They did PR yesterday as well. So PBLA, INBS, another one, 8 million share float, small market cap. Report sale surge, not a fan of that. Not accreditation for its revolutionary fingerprint sweat drug screening system. I mean, it's a PR. Okay. Oh, GMK. See if they PR'd. Sometimes the PRs, they won't show up, but they'll show up the day before. For those wondering, this is Scans, SCANZ. This is the program I use for both my news feed and my scan. Okay. Just doing a quick once over. GCT. One thing I'm looking for right now potentially are Chinese stocks. Okay. That's something I've got eyes on this morning. We'll talk about it here in a second. The main theme, y'all, the main theme period in terms of small cap, what has been running are just biotechs with phase news specifically. Okay. Almost all of them, if phase news comes out, they've been running. That being said, they run so much pre-market that I've had to back off a little bit. Okay. So I'm just kind of doing a once over looking for Chinese stocks due to ZJYL, which we'll see what happens there. GDC, I think, is Chinese. I could be wrong. What the hell? Hong Kong, yep. GDC. CVKD. Got some coverage. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Analyst coverage. Price targets. Y'all, I don't think I've ever seen a small cap target, a small cap stock in almost a decade hit a price target from one of these people, except maybe in 2020, 2021. Okay. Price targets are garbage. And a lot of times the people who are dumping the shares are also the ones doing price targets, which is just wild if you think about it, right? Okay, let's look at some charts together. Ready? We're going to look at a few daily charts. First, we've got SPY, right? Unreal, what the overall markets have done this year. Full recovery from last year at this point, right? At this point last year, this is where we were. And this is what this whole year looked like, right? So, I mean, we'll see what next year looks like. I'm not trying to really anticipate it. I have ideas in my head if it breaks out and things happen. But I'm also prepared for the other side of this. Okay, for the other side of this. Thank you very much. Boom. Thank y'all. All right, there's SPY. First step of process. Overall markets are still solid right now. Here's CGen this morning. CGEN. Okay. Really beaten down chart over the last few years. 2020, everything was up in 2020, 2021. Since 2022, I don't see any major gap downs or anything. I don't see anything major volume-wise on CGen. So this has not traded big volume. I don't see any splits, okay? When I'm looking at daily charts, y'all. And if you haven't yet, make sure to smash that like for me. Especially if you want me to keep doing these all throughout 2024. All right. Hit that like for me. And I'll keep coming on YouTube for y'all and trying to spread some info that's actually useful. Okay, CGen. Boom, boom. No splits, right? No splits. That's something I'm always looking for. If there are any recent reverse splits. I'm also looking if there have been any recent gap downs or gap ups with big volume that I need to be concerned about. Bag holders, I need to be concerned that there are certain levels overhead recently that shorts are going to step in. All of these sorts of things are what matter when I'm breaking down a daily chart. And I can usually tell, looking at a daily chart, whether or not certain things are going to exist that are dangerous or not. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Sorry, I got it. One thing quickly. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. So CGen, boom, boom, 70-cent stock, big float. Okay, big float, big float. Keep that in mind. Bigger floats move slower, period. They can move somewhat quickly when PRs come out pre-market or after hours, only because they're less liquid. There's less liquidity, okay? But I promise you, this thing should get pretty heavy. You know, if this float is correct from scans, which, you know, a lot, and something that you guys all have to take into consideration, and all the data that you see, a lot of it's delayed. It's really, I've not found anywhere where it's like real-time data, because it comes through filings and stuff like that. There's no way to know literally in real time when they're making fundamental changes. Okay, so let's break down CGen from a technical analysis standpoint. I'm sorry. First, we got to hit the DT, right? First, we got to hit the DT really fast. So what's DT? That's dilution tracker. That's the other tool that I use every single morning. It's right here. Okay. This is the other tool that I use every single day. I used to have to go through filings, right? Now I just go here. I click CGen. I see their overall risk is medium. What am I doing when I look through filings, y'all? Okay. And if you're not doing it, I really highly suggest it. I've got links to all of my software down in the description if you want to use the software that I use. Dilution tracker. This has cut my process down so it's just so much faster, all right? I used to have to go through filings, look through a bunch of 10Qs, look through a bunch of legal, mumbo jumbo. Now it's just right here for me. Here are the outstanding shares. I can see the float is 88 million. The outstanding shares is also 88 million, right? So it's not really... so this float is actually inaccurate, right? Does that make sense, y'all? If this is accurate, which I can go through the filings. I know that their country is Israel. I know that Israeli stocks, generally speaking, dump, just through my experience over time. I know that they've got 300,000 warrants at $3.95. Okay, so at $3.95, they've got 300,000 warrants, or shares that can be dumped essentially, right? Exercised and dumped at $3.95. And they've got 50 million on an ATM that's not limited by baby shelf that they opened this year, right? That they haven't used any, it looks like, too. So, in other words, they can dump. They've got an ATM, right? 50 million. They've got some warrants at $3.95. Not too many. If they were to do a crap ton of volume, it's not the most, right? And when I'm looking at it, it's like, how big is the float? That's the question. How many shares are outstanding? And then what is the dilution and relativity to that, right? I hope that makes sense. But they are dilutive. While we're at it, before we get back to the charts really quick, I am just going to quickly look at PBLA. And this step, you guys, ignore it at your own peril. Straight up. If you want to do what I do, if you want to be long small cap, ignore this step at your own peril. Okay? It is on you if you don't know who's dumping on you. If you don't understand, everyone's like, penny stocks are a scam. Yes, they are completely a scam. But they tell you where they're dumping. They tell you where they're pumping and dumping. And once you understand that, it's on you. You're an idiot if you're the one not looking at it. If you're the one just getting dumped on, and you are the one putting yourself in areas where the supply and demand is not good. Sorry, we're not looking at DT, but whatever. If you're the one not being dumped on, not whatever. This is important. Okay. CGen, I just want to show you guys. Sorry about that. We'll go back really fast. Here are the warrants, the 297,000 I was talking about. Here's the ATM. An ATM is an at-the-market offering. They can dump shares wherever they'd like. Does it mean it can't go up? Nope. Shorts also, and you know what's funny? Probably more shorts are looking at this information than longs. Okay, straight up. Just from my experience. But you can use this information to understand. Well, an ATM they can dump anywhere, so I have to understand that if I am buying shares, they may be poofing shares. Poof, poof. Shares for you. Shares for you. Shares for you. Money in my pocket. They're getting paid. Okay, the company gets paid. Right, the placement agent they get paid. Okay. SVB, they get paid. We don't get paid. We get screwed. It's all designed to screw retail. It's all designed so that we do this to CGen today. That's what that PR was for, nothing else, I promise. Put yourself in the shoes of these companies. If you need money, if you needed to get through the next quarter, if you needed to pay your employees, and this is the only means, was that there's an ATM. Literally, they call it an ATM. How crazy is that, right? Okay? It's a joke. It is a joke. Okay. So there's them. Let's check out PBLA really quick while we're at it. Like I said, medium risk here. Okay. Let's see. Okay. PBLA overall risk medium, ability low, historically high. Fears outstanding. 5. Okay, 5.13, which is good. Got some offerings from December. Just from their S1s. Just shelf offerings. 78 cents exercise price, not too many there. Nothing too crazy down here. Exercise price 78 pending effect. Those aren't going yet. They have a small amount left on their ATM, and currently they can't raise that much. So they've got some shares to dump, but it's not the worst scenario at the moment on PBLA. Wow, ZJYL. Okay, this is what is interesting to me for today, okay? First of all, let's break down CGen together really, really fast. All right, bigger float, gonna move more slowly. I look at it pretty much like this at the moment, okay? Right, I'm looking at this area of interest in terms of potential dip buys. Literally, there's not that much on this chart, right? This little area, that's it, right? I would need things to shake out and to get some good risk reward here. You know, $1.50 might hold to that kind of area, a little $0.50 mark. So that's kind of the idea, right? Thank y'all. $1.80, $1.40, right? $1.80, $1.40. We've got overhead. Got some overhead right now. Just this kind of idea here for me. Anything when I'm looking at these charts, y'all, this becomes selling. Anything up here is selling. This is when I am looking at these charts. Please understand this. These areas are not for buying. Ever, ever, ever. Nor is this. Nor is if it breaks over high of day. None of the things that everyone teaches on here, where you buy is where I buy. Ever. Never. Very rarely. Okay? We call this person Billy that does this kind of crap. Buying through highs, buying into highs and over and through highs. Okay? Even if it dips, when the people buying strength, the people buying the VWAP break, all of those people. This is who I'm trying to sell to, right? I know always we're going to have short sellers today specifically. First of all, already we have short sellers. I can promise you. I can unequivocally tell you we've already got short sellers with the volume that it's doing. It's the most volume by far today. $45 million volume this morning. Okay? $45 million volume. I promise this is what we've got. All right? So right now, when you're looking at a chart like this, you're looking at a highly emotional, you know, highly emotional chart right now. Highly emotional chart. Okay? And when the market opens, it's going to be very emotional. My idea is, let's see if I can't sell up there when these new shorts are going to step into these areas. When the noobs start buying and getting excited and inevitably lose. They always lose, right? If it goes through highs, it always gets smacked and pulls and all those things that we always talk about. So don't be Billy today, all right? If you can figure out how to sell to Billy, and get great risk reward to targets, this is the magic to me, y'all. You know, if I can find this play right here, right, where I can sell to VWAP and high day and pre-market highs on price targets where everyone else is trying to sell it. Short sellers are selling up here. People, if you're dumping shares, you dump them through high day. Totally. That's what I would do, right? If I had billions or millions of shares to dump on these companies. Yeah, when it spikes, you take it off, right? When you have liquidity, you need buyers to dump shares. And we're trading small cap and all they do is dump shares every day. Just assume that. And now under that assumption, we get to go back to dilution tracker and confirm what we know to be true. Okay. So it doesn't mean I can't trade them, but it means that I look at them under that lens. And if I'm not getting something that looks similar to this, very generally speaking, okay, in terms of risk reward, because every single one of these short sellers, and once this opens out the gate, if this spikes, it's shorted, everything, all of those short sellers become what? Let me know in chat. Please let me know. All right. ZJYL, super interesting, right? Short sellers can't help themselves. These Chinese SPAC uplistings and stuff like that, y'all. And this is what I was talking about. You can be a short seller, you can have 90% win rate all year. Boom. December 19th and 18th. Random Chinese pump. Random 100 shares or 200 shares or 500 shares on something like this with no cover. This thing went to freaking this thing went to 520 yesterday. All right. And it's not that no one was in it. It wasn't liquid, right? But yesterday's the panic day on a pump, on a Chinese pump. This is what you all have to understand, right? This is a Chinese pump, ZJYL. Right? If you don't know what ZJ is, can't afford it. Sorry. This is a Chinese pump that just went from $8 to $36 and had a first red day yesterday, the day before. That's what you're seeing, right? Shorts cannot help themselves that like to play these things. And subsequently, they use that liquidity and do weird things to these people. There's still people trapped here, like it's at $200, right? Went to $500. So this is what I was talking about short selling. Great tool, super dangerous for that one time you fuck up, right? I really hope that makes sense to you guys. It's scary. But if this does keep going today and starts squeezing really hard, I will go straight back to my scan, right? I'll go straight back to my scan and I'm going to be looking strictly for Chinese stocks. How do I find Chinese stocks? Well, they'll start popping. Okay. I'll go here to like percent change 5 minute. I'll make sure that my volume's nice and low, because if it starts popping and that's what I want to see. And then I'll start clicking tickers as they start popping up. I already know most of the Chinese stocks. I've traded a lot of them, but I would say more like Chinese SPACs. If you can find them, the less trading history, I suppose, the better. So it's going to be really sketchy too, right? It's going to be really sketchy too. But that's the idea in my head. If ZJYL goes nuts, we will see some Chinese action. I promise. Sea-Doo, I believe, might be Chinese. I think they're a penny stock though. And I think they were just a compliance play. So anyways, if y'all are enjoying the pre-market prep, I do this every single day with my people just like this. And then we get into live trading. So we're going to live trade for the next hour to 2 hours sometimes. I do the same exact thing like this most days for power hour prep. IFBD. Yep. IFBD. See that? What I was just talking about? That just popped onto my percent change 5 minute. See this? And then I'll just come in here where, well, I'm not sure what screen you guys have. Sorry. Where did that go? IFBD. Okay, boom. China headquarter, right? So that puts them right on my top of my list right now. Okay. Something like IFBD. Please let me know if this is so important. Oh my God. This is really important that this is happening right now. It doesn't always happen for us pre-market prep, right? Where I can see a simp possibly already, boom, possible simp, right? So it's still going to depend to me on what's going to end up going down with ZJYL. But I already know now. I see GDC's potentially a Chinese simp. IFBD now, right, is potentially a Chinese simp. Literally just popped on my scan. Okay. And looks like it was moving yesterday. Looks like it was possibly the simp yesterday. Actually, it did simp yesterday. Wow. Okay. It already started simping yesterday in my eyes. What's simping? It's a sympathy play, right? You get a massive runner. It creates more runners. Okay. Market's open, y'all. If you enjoyed this pre-market prep, we'll be doing it next week too, but you can get on in the pack if you scan that QR code. We're having our biggest sale ever. It's going to go through Christmas. 40% off. Again, it's a special place. I do this every single day. Now we're going to live trade together for a while. Trader therapies on Fridays, one-on-one work, all that good stuff. So if you enjoyed this pre-market prep, you want to be in the pack, go ahead and join us. If not, thank you so much for joining me. All my wolves, I'll catch you in the Discord under Wolf Stage right now. Everyone else, thank you so much for joining me. We will catch you guys next week. Stay safe. Don't be Billy. Don't be chasing. Try to get that good risk reward. I've got several big videos coming to y'all this week. All right. A couple shorter ones with tips, some tips and tricks and stuff like that. A really, really, really important video coming on reverse splits and some swing trade ideas going into 2024 and quite a bit more. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure to hit that like for me if you appreciated this webinar. And I will catch my wolves in the Discord. I'll catch the rest of my YouTube wolves next week. Stay safe, y'all.